Hi, this is Ryan Lisk of Lisk Associates, and today I want to introduce you to one of our services we call Selecting the Best. Now, in just a handful of minutes, I am going to show you an overview of how it works, and then I want to follow that up with a case study of what really happens when a client uses our tools, products, and services. Essentially, what we're trying to do, and I'm on the liskassociate.com Selecting the Best tab here. What we're trying to do is take our selection processes from a scatter approach to what this target looks like on the left-hand side to an intentional, more targeted approach on the right-hand side. So we know what we're looking for and who we're going to hire. And in fact, before working with us, some of our clients might describe their selection process as a roll of the dice or a flip of the coin. And in fact, you can see me giving a presentation here where I show a roulette wheel, right? And so we want to keep the gambling to the casinos, and hopefully we can take some of the risk out of your selection process. Let me show you our flow chart of how it works. And I want to make this, you'll see my tagline is simple, practical, and valuable. So as we're looking at a one pager of this, the selecting the best process, it starts with the benchmark. The candidates then complete their own personal talent report. And then we compare the candidate's data to the benchmark for fit. And then we can do a gap report or fit report. And then, of course, after the hire, we want to do some onboarding and development from day one. And I will tell you this one thing that's worth mentioning, especially for you all that are using the assessments in your organization. We have chosen an assessment partner called TTI Success Insights. And we chose them because they're using reports that they have science that has backed up validity, reliability via the technical reports. And then they have an adverse impact study which protects you or is free of adverse impact from protected classes, which puts us in compliance with EEOC and OFCCP. So saying that, that's probably the most important thing of the entire process. You're using assessments that you should feel safe using. And in fact, I've put a link to both of those documents on the website there that I highlight. Now, let me show you how the process actually works. And so let's look at a case study where we had a client that wanted to hire great CSRs, right? That I said, well, how many? They're like, well, however many we can get. Okay, great. So, so what are we looking for? And in fact, in the benchmark, that's what we do. So we have to define what we're looking for. And in our benchmark library, we've got 55 different traits and talents that we can choose from across 4 different categories. So we have behavioral styles, we have 12 behavioral styles, we have 12 job rewards, we have 6 acumen indicators, and 25 job competencies. And when we put together this particular benchmark, here's the 25 that bubbled to the top that they were looking for. And so we ended up with the top 6 behavioral styles, the top 6 job rewards, the 6 acumen indicators, and the top 7 job competencies. And I want to call your attention to the top line of each of those. So on the number 1 behavioral style, we have consistent. The number 1 job reward there is called altruistic. The top acumen indicator we have is called systems judgment. And then the top job competency is called customer focus. And I want to show you one example from each of those 4. So we're going to pull out those traits and I'll show you exactly how this tool works. All right. So here's how it gets started. Once we've defined what we're looking for, the candidates now complete their own personal talent HD report. And you can see we captured when they took it, what time of day did they complete it, and how long did it take them to complete the 4 different reports. That's always interesting to see. And you can see the average time for these 27 candidates was 39 minutes. And so when we're sending out the link to candidates, we're saying this is going to take you about 40 to 45 minutes. These are 4 10-minute assessments or 10-minute reports to complete. So let's look at one from each of the 4 categories. Here's the consistent style. So the number 1 behavioral style for this job was called consistent. And this is about this job's time is spent behaving predictively in repetitive situations. And you can see that 18 of our 27 candidates scored above the national average on consistent. This is not needle in a haystack kind of things. We're looking for at or above the national average is all we're looking for here. In job rewards, the number 1 job reward was called altruistic. And this job rewards people who like helping other people for the sake of helping other people, right? People helpers. And 22 of our 27 candidates score above the national average on altruistic. That's an 81% target there. Acumen indicators, systems judgment. was the number one there. And this is how quickly and clearly someone can pick up on our rules, policies, processes, and procedures, right? Our systems in the position. And 19 of the 27 candidates score above average on systems judgment. And then finally, remember that number one competency, customer focus. And so you're probably thinking, yeah, these make a lot of sense, right? Consistent, altruistic systems judgment. And now here's customer focus. This sounds like a customer service rep position. And in fact, 23 of the 27 scored above average on customer focus. So you're thinking, wow, this sounds like a really good set of candidates. But in fact, when you extrapolate across all 25, they start to thin out some, if you will. And so this particular candidate is looking for the low risk fits with the following criteria. We want a good or excellent fit to the benchmark at 60% or higher. And we want good or excellent plus the fair fit to be at 90% or higher. And that's what we call the gap report. So we can look at this and analyze this for them. And when they do that, 11 of the 27 candidates come out into their low risk fit category that they would like to hire. And so they talk about dots, right? Green dots and blue dots. So they want to hire more green dots and more blue dots, right? And so they have their pet names for how these things shake out. So in this particular case, how it started with the 27 candidates, we had 48% green dots. And then how it's going, we now have 73% green dots of our 11 candidates that they're going to hire. And the same thing with the blue dots. The blue dots is about the altruistic. 59% were blue dots when this started. And now of the 11, we have 82% blue dots. So just you can see by the graphs, we are doing a better job of fit, hiring for fit for this particular set of candidates. And so what ends up happening, right? What's it really worth, or how does it, how does that play out in real life? So before using Lisk Associates selecting the best process, they hired all 27. They lost 16 within a year. And so that cost of about 15,000 per person times 16 was about $240,000. And then after the selecting the best, they only hired 11 versus 27, but 9 stayed at least a year. And so it cost them $8,100 for the process for this batch of candidates, plus the 30,000 where we lost the 2 for a cost of 38,100. And it saved them 400, or their return on investment. It saved them 201,000. Their total return on investment is 423%. That's good for us. We try to set a benchmark of doing a 4X or a 400% return on investment, which is good. Sometimes we get a little less, sometimes we get a little more, depending on the case study, but that's how it works. So for next steps, if this looks like it's something interesting to you and you would like to add a little science to your selection, a little fit, a little intentionality, reach out and give me an email. So you can contact me, Ryan at liskassociates.com. I look forward to hearing from you and helping you select the best. Thanks.